Welcome back. Welcome back to the Corner 3 podcast. As we told you on Threads, this is going to be a jam-packed one. I've been excited all day, looking forward to this episode. But before we get into it, Rush, Jarrett, my brothers, how y'all doing?
It's an amazing day to be a fan of the NBA. That's all I'm gonna say. We woke up with some mess on the timeline. I think one of y'all. I think who was it? I think it was Jarrett. Text the group chat at like 7 a.m. and said CP3 is going to be the Clippers about to cut CP3, and I was like, what? And it's gone up from there. So it's a good day to be a fan of the NBA.
It's a beautiful day for that. And I had to explain it and break it down to my wife because I was like, yo, we just came back from Atlanta. Our flight got delayed twice. I'm tired. And I wake up to Jarrett texting that. I say, oh, wait, what? What in the hey? She's like, what happened? And I had to break it down in like legal terms because she going to be a lawyer. Had to break it down somehow to make it sense that way. Absolutely crazy. Great time to be a basketball fan. It is the best soap opera that you could ever watch, that you could ever be locked in on. Before we get started, the Basketball Intelligence Network. Check them out. Aaron, Evan, everybody a part of them. Great content, great basketball information, and it's different. You don't got to worry about it's just a bunch of hot takes and ESPN-ified of content. Nope, it's some great basketball conversation over there. Fellas, we're going to have to start off with this one. We talked about it in the summertime. I even saw Rush maybe yesterday, 2 days ago. You know he be busy on Threads. He mentioned he didn't think Giannis would be moved. Reports came out that actually is not the case. Giannis and his agent are talking with the Bucks, and this came from Shams. This came from Chris Haynes. This came from Chris Lindsay. Giannis is going to more than likely be on the move. We talked about it in the chat. Rush, you started off. Where do you think would be the best fit for Giannis Antetokounmpo? We also saw that she was doing some trades today. You said, I don't feel bad that I've been looking at the trade tracker throughout today. So talk to me.
Yeah, I'm not going to reveal exactly which team I was checking to see if a theoretical trade for Giannis could be made to. I'm sure people could guess if they really wanted to, but I'm not going to say for the sake of not being accused of rage bait. But also appreciate you tossing me this question after setting up the segment, calling out my my erroneous post since the day before, which is crazy. You know, this whole Giannis thing is it's literally a saga. I feel like I don't know the exact definition of a saga, but I feel like if you looked it up, the Giannis and the Bucks and is Giannis going to request a trade situation would fit perfectly underneath that definition. It's just wild. Like every time the subject comes up, it's Giannis is assessing, right? Like whether or not he wants to move. Giannis is assessing whether or not he can have a successful future in Milwaukee. Like, bro, just go. Like, push the button. Walk through the door, hop off the fence. Just do it. I don't know if you're looking at this current Bucks roster, though I think they could be better than most people. They could definitely be better than they're playing right now, and it's a long season. I mean, we just probably hit the quarter mark, or maybe not even fully. I don't see them doing anything in terms of contention. So, you know, I don't know what the holdup is. Like, just do it if you're gonna do it. Like, stop tap dancing around it. But I just don't know. I just don't know what's going on over there. Doc came out today in his pregame press conference and said Giannis has never asked for a trade. Shams saying, like, people are reporting. It's a saga. It's messy. I'm enjoying it. It gave me a reason to spend 2 hours on Spot Track today. But I would just really appreciate it if Giannis would just come out and say, trade me. I want to be traded. Now, in terms of teams, I really don't think we talked about this in the group chat. Any team that trades for Giannis, I mean, pretty much every team that trades for him is going to have to completely revamp their identity. You're more than likely going to have to gut your team of most of the middle tier talent, right? If you've got a superstar, you're not going to trade your superstar, but you're going to trade everybody else that helps make a contending team. So is it worth it? I mean, the team that's been named is the Knicks because that's what he said in the preseason, or that's the name that came up in the reports in the preseason. But I don't know. There's been a lot of time between August and now, so we'll see. It's very interesting. He obviously took all the Instagram stuff down, but in terms of teams, I really think to make it work easily and still have like a lot of assets left to contend. I mean, San Antonio comes top of mind, and then OKC. After that, you really have to think about it.
Hey, Jarrett. So obviously, you are the resident Knicks fan on the pod. It's been reported his number one destination that he wants to go to is the New York Knicks. And according to Brian Windhurst, he said that at the beginning of the season, Giannis asked for a trade. I'm on the same page with Rush. You're concerned about being the nice guy and protecting your image. Own it, Giannis. This could all be so simple. Come out and nobody will have a problem. I want to win. Ain't gonna win here. You gave a title to one of the most small market teams in the NBA, one of the most boring places that you could be at. They got a title. Now he wants to go.
Yo,
What happened?
Giannis just went down with a non-contact leg injury.
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I saw the notification. Looks
oh,
to be lower leg, and he called for help right away.
Oh, he's
yeah.
staying in Milwaukee. he's he's staying in Milwaukee. I guess we don't got to know what we ain't got to predict what team next. You stuck in Milwaukee, my boy. You better hope them doctors and them nurses take care of you very nicely. Um,
Oh
but
man.
with the thoughts, were you a fan of him possibly coming to the Knicks? I've heard some fans say get rid of Cat. Cat's been playing bad this year. What's your thoughts on the possibly Giannis being, a Nick?
First things first, I want to give a shout out to my Wizards because it seems like they are ending the Giannis dynasty with the loss that they gave him. But me, I think I said it before. I don't think I would trade Giannis for Cat. And like we said, we talked about it. The whole situation of having to reconstruct the whole team to basically shape the way Giannis plays. It doesn't seem like it makes sense to me. I like how the team is currently structured. We have for once we have a deep roster. So to go after Giannis, it would be you have to basically give away all of your assets. That's probably going to be like OG, Mikel, Deuce McBride. And that's basically our core right there. Um, Plus, Cat is better for floor spacing for the way the Knicks want to play. They play a lot of four out. Sometimes they play five out with Cat at the center position. Um, yeah, I mean, Giannis is great. I just don't. I don't want it to be a situation where like you kind of. I don't want to say delaying your championship chances, but it's kind of like all right, you gotta have to do like a not a hard reset, but you kind of have to rework everything, and that can take probably another season when you already kind of developed chemistry with Carl Anthony Towns here. And people saying he's not playing good, it's just because he's not a great defender. We knew what we got when he came here. He's never been a great defender. He's always been shaky on defense, but that's not what we brought him for. We brought him here for the offense. We have defenders. We have Mikel. We have OG. We have Mr. Robinson. We have Deuce. Um, like the defense will work itself out when the team gets fully healthy. I think that's what people are keep forgetting. Like we're not fully healthy right now. Like OG takes a lot of the responsibilities on the defensive end. So when he comes back, then we can be like, all right, we can see what we really have because you can't just write off Carl Anthony Towns as a defender, say he's whack. He's always been like this. He's always played this way. And we know he's capable of actually putting on good defensive performances. We see what he did against Jokic a few years ago alongside Rudy Gobert. So we know what he's capable of. He just has to have the right situation for him.
I want to touch on that too, right? So you mentioned this in the conversation with the Knicks in the East being wide open completely. We haven't seen the teams that we predicted, and I say we as in the mass media of the top two teams should be Knicks and Cleveland. Both have been off to some shaky starts. Both have dealt with some injuries. Specifically with your Knicks, though, how are you feeling with their chances to actually capitalize and get into the finals this year from what we've seen so far?
I still feel comfortable about it. I mean, I do think it's some things to iron out. I do feel like we have to get Brunson off the ball a little more. Kind of like on last game, he was struggling a lot, and it seemed like they was trying to still kind of force the issue to him when Mikel really had it going and Cat really had it going. So it's, if Brunson don't have it going, go somewhere else. You don't have to try to drop 30 every night for us to win. We have scorers on this team, and we have a bench now. We have Jordan Clarkson, who's known to go off for some huge nights, and as a former six man of the year. So we have other ways we can go with the offense. So I feel like our chances, to be honest, like I feel like we're one of the deepest teams in the East right now. To be honest with you, because it's like New York, Cleveland's pretty deep, but Cleveland's struggling as well. But they had their share of injuries. Detroit's playing good, but honestly, the Knicks are technically they are fourth right now in the East. So I still like our chances. We just gotta get OG back and Shamit back.
Hey, so mention with that actual game, right? Something that stood out. Jaylen Brown, the game that Peyton Pritchard had 42 points. Jaylen Brown
Take it from.
easily, Jaylen Brown easily could have been in a situation of let me go try to close the game out. But Mazzulla talked about how he decided, you know what, I'm gonna go be the screener. I'm gonna go make sure he's the hot hand, feed him. I'll get my pleasure. I'll get good off of, hey, I'm setting the screen, I'm getting him open, and I'm playing defense. That did not happen in that Knicks game, and I get it. Brunson's your closer, but that's always that balancing act that you have to do. Staying with that conversation of the Celtics, though, are the Celtics better than what we thought they would be? And when I say we, I'm saying Rush and Jarrett, because I did predict that they would be a top six team in the East still, but that was my prediction. Jarrett, how are you feeling about the Celtics and what we've seen so
You
far?
trying to wait? Are you trying to victory lap us?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little early victory lap because they're technically in eighth, I believe. So you're still not right.
They're ascending. They're ascending. 7-3 over the last
Everybody's
10.
ascending, and everybody's ascending each other. Not.
They figuring something out. What do you see? Do you think they are better than, perceived? Especially Jaylen Brown, how he's been playing as the number one option.
You know, they're actually playing better than a lot of people thought. But I was wrong about that. I didn't think Boston will be at this point this season. But I did think Jalen Brown was still going to have a really good season regardless. I thought that, to me, in my opinion, I always said this. Don't know if I said it in the pod or anything, but I always felt like Jalen Brown is kind of like right there with Jason Tatum as far as being that guy. Like, I know people say, oh, he's shaky with the handle and blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, but he still know how to get to his spots and get those points. And to play with a player like Tatum and you're still getting like 25 to 27 a game, you can still be a number one option on the team. Did I think that would translate to these type of wins for Boston? No, I'm not gonna lie to you. But but that was me thinking the team, the roster, I should say, because half of this roster is like probably been in the G League. Be honest with you, so like the only real NBA vet on the team who's getting real consistent minutes is Derek White. Yeah, then he's actually White is actually the second oldest one on the team. Wow, that's actually crazy. But yeah, but I'm I'm a little impressed about how Boston's playing today.
Yeah, even Xavier Tillman has played good for them in minutes where he's started. Jordan Walsh, shout out to Jordan Walsh. He's been starting last couple games.
Yeah, he
Not
played that
saying
really good
that
last game. He played really good against my Knicks last game. Like he had some nice rebounds, some nice layups. I'm like, dang, this kid was just in the G League killing it and come up and killing my Knicks. I ain't like that.
I know this is a sore topic, and if we need to, bypass it, I completely understand as a fellow Laker fan. But Rush, from what you've seen so far from the Celtics with the win streak, from you mentioned my victory lap and whatnot. Are you not buying in the Celtics' recent run of some W's that they've been adding up to?
Um, no, they've had some impressive wins, and being taking my Lakers hat off and being objective, corner three team member Rush. I think Celtic. If you're a Celtics fan, you have to be feeling really good right now. You're accustomed to being at the top of the conference for the last couple 2 to 3 years, and you're not that team anymore. But you've got a number two who's been playing, who stepped into that number one role and has been producing career numbers. Really, I know I think we talked about the Celtics before the season started, or right around when the season started, and we had a segment about the players with the sort of like the most pressure. And I think I said Jaylen Brown because the contract, Finals MVP, but it's always been adjacent to Jason Tatum. Well, Jason Tatum's gone, so how are you going to perform? And 29.6 rebounds, 4.8 assists. I think what's really impressive is he's got 10 games with 30 plus, shooting a career high field goal percentage with a career high usage percentage, 36%. And he's got the Celtics at 12-9 with some impressive wins, and he's even gotten for a couple 40 balls. So I think the Celtics have been great, man. Peyton Pritchard's been balling like we all know he can. Derek White's been solid. Anthony Simon's been coming off the bench and has been giving them 13 points per game. Kata's been playing well, even though I think he's out now for a little bit. So it's you get past those first three guys, Brown, Pritchard, and White, and it's kind of like a by committee type of deal. Who's going to give you a burst every night? It's sort of been a rotating committee. But give the Celtics credit, man, and give Mazzulla credit. He can coach his ass off, and he's got this team playing, I think, well above where most people thought they would be. So I hope it doesn't continue. But if it does, I give him their props, just like I just gave him their props tonight.
Hey, you are completely right. It is by committee of what they're doing over there in Boston. Where it is not by committee, when it comes to the fourth quarter, it's not by committee over there in Detroit. That man, Cade Cunningham, has been on a tear when the fourth quarter comes. I'm going to read some stats. He has 169 points, which is second in the NBA regarding this is just the fourth quarter. 35 assists, tied for second. 74 paint points, tied for second. 34 points off of turnovers first. A usage percentage of 40%, and he has 12 wins in clutch time, which leads the NBA. Looking at how he's been balling this entire season, are we looking at a superstar evolving in our eyes from what we've seen so far from Cade Cunningham, Jarrett?
Reading those numbers, it's like we got an MVP in the making. Be honest with you, like those are MVP stats. I think superstar. I think he's already a superstar in my eyes. Like I do already think that he's already past that number one pick. He's like I said before, he grinded his way in Detroit and went from the laughing stock of the league to one of the best teams in the league now. Yeah, I mean Detroit got a good one. I think that in a few years he can win an MVP. I really like how he's playing this year. It's been really inspiring. You know, I like seeing players stick it out with small market teams, and when they start off bad, they just work their way up, kind of like what Giannis did in Milwaukee, SGA in OKC. Like I like seeing stuff like that. Like it's good for the league to see small market teams grow and become winning franchises.
Hey,
Detroit hasn't been
Rush.
good since the 2000s.
Yeah, pretty much
Yeah,
since Mr. Big Shot Billups and Rip Hamilton and Tayshaun Prince.
you're not gonna speak on Chauncey.
Hey, we gonna speak. Hey, proven
He who shall not be
innocent,
named.
innocent until proven guilty. Those numbers
Not
I
in
read,
hey, not in the court of public opinion, brother.
a
Guilt by
thousand,
association. You associated with some mess, you guilty in the court of public opinion.
1,000%. And I wonder if that is the same mindset, being that he wore a Clutch Sports Group hoodie when he came out of court. But that's a whole nother that's a whole nother topic which we will not touch because we don't want no problems with them. The numbers I ran off right there in the fourth quarter, you actually posted it too as well, Rush, on your threads. When we talk about closers right now this season, where do you have Cade ranked for you? Crunch time, you want the ball in this player's hand. Who comes to mind? Do you got Cade on your list? You got Jaylen Brown, Luka Doncic. Who comes to mind for you as top closers in the NBA right now?
It's a great question. This is a very good question. That was not on our docket, by the way, but I'm gonna answer it anyway. It definitely Cade. I think not. I think definitely Cade. Just I mean, because look at his numbers, right? In clutch situations. Luka, obviously, because I believe the Lakers are 6-0 in clutch situations this season, and Luka Doncic has no doubt been a catalyst in that record. And then Shea. Now, this is me just going off. This is purely like eye test and vibes, I guess, for lack of official term. I haven't looked at like the actual clutch stats, but I mean, just looking at what Shea did last night in Golden State, how he sort of helped sort of be a catalyst for that run that the Thunder put on at the end of the game when Golden State was sort of threatening, and then seeing what Cade has done all season to this point, and just knowing what a dog Luka can be when he has the ball in clutch situations. Those would probably be my top three. Yeah, you can throw Jokic in there because not necessarily it's not always going to be scoring, but he's going to make the right play. But he can also hit some clutch buckets as we've seen throughout his career. So those four, I think, would probably be on my list. But admittedly, that's going off not actually looking at the clutch statistics.
Hey, so you mentioned SGA and what he did last night, what he's been doing all season, just how good that team is in general. Jarrett, Ahmad's been having this campaign for the entire season, maybe even before the season started, of the conversation of SGA being the best player in the world.
Shout out to Ahmad. That's my guy, man. That dude posts his thoughts and doesn't care what kind of heat he gets for it. And I think he has um some really solid takes that aren't necessarily always the most popular. So we gave Ben some flowers last episode. I'm gonna shout out Ahmad. Now I'm going on mute.
Yes, sir. Shout out to Ahmad. Jarrett,
Yes,
do you think
sir.
that at this point now, NBA champion, NBA MVP, leading the league and like getting buckets and not even playing fourth quarters, it seems easy for him. His braids don't get undone. Doesn't seem like he's sweating. Seems as the coolest
Move.
player off the court. Everything he has everything going for him. It kind of also has the Tim Duncan effect, where it's not flashy. So I think some people don't mention him. Some people overlook him because it's not rah rah, it's not in your face. He's just calm, cool, and collected. SGA being the best player in the world right now, do you think it's time to have that conversation? It's legitimate.
Yeah, I think it is legitimate. I was looking at his stats and everything the other day. He gets better every single season. Right now, he has a chance to shoot 50, 40, 90 on the season. It's not a lot of players who's done it throughout league history. It's a lot less players who's done it in average 30. I don't think it's probably any, to be honest with you. So he'll probably be the first one to do it, to average 30. Um, and he's leading his team to the best record in the league. And you know what? Someone asked me today. They asked me, "Do you think that the Thunder will break the 73-9 record that the Warriors set?" And I'm like, you know what? That's a very good possibility that can happen. The way they're playing, they're looking like they're gonna go 81-1. And then the fact that they are not fully healthy still, like they don't have their full roster yet. So yeah, I mean, and Shea is the leader behind all this. So yeah, we need to start having this conversation that he's the best player in the league. And we can go either way. Jokic, Luka. Some people may say Giannis. Some people may even put Cade in that conversation now. But I mean, SGA, I think he might got it.
Hey, Rush, we kind of talked about this at the end of the show. We weren't recording, and we had great conversation regarding this. And I was like, I'm definitely gonna bring it up next episode. How many wins do you think OKC is gonna win this year?
What did we talk about? What did we talk about last episode?
We talked about after the episode was done when I was over in Georgia. We talked about, hey, this OKC team might win X amount of
Oh,
games. How
okay.
many games do you think they win this year?
How many do I think they win? Um, so I have two schools of thought on this, right? Because I can't ever just give a simple answer. There's a part of me, because I'm tired of all these Thunder fans and NBA threads parading around, laughing at everybody because everybody else sucks compared to the Thunder. There's a part of me that doesn't want them to get the record because y'all not winning with humility. Keep letting everybody know how elite y'all are, but that's just the hater in me. The more logical, objective, unbiased side, yeah, I think that they have a legitimate shot at least 74. I think that's their win pace currently. It might be a little bit higher.
78 is the current win pace.
So significantly higher in terms of games won. I think, the more that I know their schedule gets tougher once we get into the new year. I think it's just, they've already won a championship. So why not push for it, right? I think they're motivated to go for it. It to me, it really mirrors the Warriors 15 and then 16, the championship at 15, and then the regular season dominance in 16. I feel like it mirrors that because you've already won and you're relatively young. So why not push for the history books, right? And then once you've done that, do what the Warriors couldn't do. 73-9 don't mean a thing without the ring, right? Well, let's get 75 and then get I think they can do it. I think they're motivated. Shai is a superstar who's been relatively healthy. I don't think he's like an injury concern, although we all know injuries can happen to anyone. And like Jarrett said, they're not even fully healthy yet. So yeah, I think that 74, 75 is within reason, maybe even higher. Like I said, when we get into the later parts of the season and fatigue and maybe some contentment settles in, maybe they lose a couple here and there, but if you only got one loss at that point, you can afford it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think there's a very good shot that we're talking about them as one of the all-time great teams by the end of the year.
Hey, I see it happening. It could really be like, I know Jarrett was using hyperbole. I don't see 81 wins, but gosh darn it, if they get 75, 78, 79, I would not actually be surprised. The team is 27 deep. SGA isn't even really playing fourth quarters. So it's not even a situation where like they're straining to get it. It's not a situation like that Warriors team where it was. I know y'all remember they had some games where it was coming down to the wire and you got to see Steph crunch time and big time shots. Ain't many of them games that OKC we're seeing right now. It's a lot of it's a lot of runaways. So they're staying fresh. J Dub is just style getting back. Yeah, man, it's scary for the rest of the league, and thanks to teams like the Clippers and whatnot, it could get even scarier in the draft because the Clippers are down, down bad. And as we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, what broke the news, what broke threads this morning? Everybody and their grandmother was talking about it. I saw people that were a part of NFL threads that work for the NFL that was talking about the Chris Paul situation. He's been waived. He's been sent home. They gonna figure out a trade possibly to send him elsewhere. Rush, what's your whole viewpoint first before you even talk about possibly where he could go? What's your viewpoint on just how the Clippers handled this situation and Chris Paul, especially being it's supposed to be his farewell tour?
The optics are not good. It's bad. And maybe that wasn't their intention. The Clippers, they being the Clippers. Maybe they thought they were handling this in the most respectable, fair way to all parties involved. But it didn't look that way. Chris Paul put up a story at 3, 4, 5 a.m. in the morning. Said they sent me home with the little peace sign emoji. And I know he had to be distraught because he didn't even change the color of the emoji to black hand. He did the little yellow hand emoji. He just fired it off. So it just doesn't look good. Chris Paul's retiring this year. He specifically came to the Clippers because this is where he wanted to end his career. I don't even think we need to say arguably the best point guard in Clippers history. I think it's just a fact. And you treat him like this? Like, okay, now they're working out, because reports, I like even myself, I think I overreacted. I said they cut him. But reports are they just sent him home, like he said, like I'm headed home, while they're going to work out what they do with him. So they're going to try to trade him, I guess, but he can't be traded until the 15th. And then if they can't trade him, then they cut him. But it's like, why do you handle it like that? Like, okay, let him be on the team, let him be with the team, and maybe let him play. He definitely can't hurt you. You're 15, you're 5 and 16. So I just think it was handled horribly. And not only did they handle it horribly, they didn't get out in front of everything. Like Lawrence Frank has been responding to other reports all day long. Like, if you're going to do this, you got to get out ahead of it. You got to do it, and then you got to put out your side, because we know there's the team side these days, and then there's the players, brand, media side. And teams are very rarely going to be put in a positive light by everybody else. And according to Lou Williams, all Chris Paul was doing was holding the team accountable, the players, the coaches, the brass upstairs. And Lawrence Frank didn't actually refute any of what was said. He just said he wants to keep it in house, and it wasn't about any one situation. It just didn't work out. Well, so that's telling me everything that Shams, Chris B. Haynes, and Lou Williams are reporting is probably true. And then you see Ty Lue saying he hated the way it was done. But one thing that was in the reports was Chris Paul tried to meet with Ty Lue to clear the air, and Ty Lue wouldn't meet with him. The Clippers are an embarrassment of a professional sports franchise. They're just bad. They make the New Orleans Pelicans and the Sacramento Kings look like tier one organizations. They're just bad. And these are like own goals. This is like snapping the ball and then just running backwards into your own end zone. Like these things are like so preventable. And yet they just continue to clip. It's I'm embarrassed for them and I'm a Lakers fan. It's just bad.
Jarrett, I wanna ask you this to give the flip side of it because reports did come out, and it came out that Chris Paul rubbed people the wrong way, which I don't think that's the first time we've heard that in his career. Given both sides of it, because we are a balanced podcast, do you think that Chris Paul and his approach and being that he's not the star anymore, he's not getting major minutes, do you think his approach to how he views the game factored into this negatively? Like, should he have approached it differently? Like, you're not playing, you're not the star anymore. Do you think he should have went about it differently? Or is this mainly really like when the Clippers like, hey, y'all just can't handle criticism. Y'all 5-16. Somebody gotta say something.
You know, I always had my thoughts about Chris Paul, and I've heard those reports multiple times over several years about his leadership style. So that was one of my criticism of him is like, all right, you're not adjusting to. You gotta know how to talk to people at the end of the day, as a person. Like I'm not in the locker room, so I don't know what he says to these players. So I don't know. I'm only going based off what I've heard from word of mouth. But at the same time, it's Chris Paul. So it's a legend. He is one of the greatest players to play the game. Not only point guards, one of the greatest players to play this game. So yeah, maybe he wasn't going about it the right way, but at the same time, how bad can it be if you guys only won 5 games on the season? Someone had to say something because clearly there's no type of leadership in that locker room. Obviously, it's like, all right, we know how hard it is already. We've seen his leadership style. Kawhi don't he barely say anything, so we don't know what's going on with him. Um, yeah, and then for it to be, like a situation like that, kind of give him a farewell tour is crazy. Like that, this is why the Clippers will always remain the junior varsity team to the Lakers, the little brother team, because of stuff like this. You don't do stuff like this to legends. You don't treat legends this way who's done so much for your franchise. How do you expect players to want to come to your franchise and play there and want to, retire there, whatever the case may be, if you do stuff like this to legends? So if any random player want to come there, they're gonna treat them like garbage. That's probably what other teams are thinking, other agents, all that. So this looks horrible. And I expected better from Lawrence Frank. I was a fan of his when he was the coach in New Jersey, but as a GM, I never seen him as a good GM for some reason. I think he was the GM with the Pistons when they had got Drummond, Josh Smith, and Greg Monroe. I think it was. I think he was the GM there. So like it seemed like he
That
just
wasn't
always.
that wasn't Stan when he was
Well, he was
coach president.
Sam was the coach, but I think Lawrence was like the president of operations. I could be wrong.
Okay,
I could be wrong. I'm not sure. But I feel like he was in Detroit for a little bit, not as a coach though. But
right.
yeah, I just it rubbed me the wrong way. Like even for it being Chris Paul, like from my perspective, like you don't treat legends like that. But that's not right. Who's arguably probably the best player in your franchise history.
Yeah, I think that's that's really
Yeah.
safe to say. I don't know many names that come up as the best Clipper
Mm-hmm.
outside of Chris Paul. You can't name that many names, honestly speaking.
Exactly.
And Rachel Nichols pointed it out on Threads. Shout out to Rachel Nichols being on Threads. A lot of y'all need to come hop over here. She pointed out to the time where Kobe got that contract even after the injury. Some would say overpaid, but it showed the rest of the league and other players that they were loyal, that they knew how to take care of their players, that they treated their players well. This situation is going to impact them possibly for years to come.
So real quick, you know what's funny about that? This is the same thing I said about Dwayne Wade with the Miami situation with Pat Riley. How you not going to pay Dwayne Wade if he has to go somewhere else to get his money? You have the money to pay him. Why would you not do it? Like Pat Riley was being cheap to his legend, and then si- similar but different situation with Jimmy Butler as well, because he's not to the pedigree of Dwayne Wade, but Jimmy Butler is one of the greatest Miami Heat players ever. So it's like these general managers, whatever the case, these people in these leadership roles, you're treating your stars like this. This is not a good way to have stars come to your team. You painting yourself in a negative light. Players don't want to come to situations like that
Players don't want to come play for the Clippers though.
at all.
Yeah, I mean, I know Brooke Lopez signed there, but he's like old. Um, John Collins was traded there, right? I believe. Kawhi signed there because he wanted to play in LA, but didn't want to play with LeBron. Allegedly, that's not fact. I'm just speaking my opinion there. Um, Harden was traded there, right? Wasn't Harden trade? He
Yeah, I think
wasn't
so.
signed.
That
Yeah,
was
that was
one
a
of
trade.
those force his way out.
Probably because nobody else wanted him. So there's a theme here, right? Like with the Clippers, and I think the whole being like the JV team is legit part, but they just don't have they haven't had a good front office. I think the Lob City years, they did some things. Lawrence Frank has an Executive of the Year award for when he was in charge of the Clippers. When in his earlier in his stint. But you got a guy who your best player, like he's never healthy. He doesn't do appearances. Apparently, he's getting paid by some scam shell company. He said we need more talent. Whether that was Freudian slip or he just used the incorrect word, I don't know. But he said what he said. It's, it's just bad, man. I got this. It's just it's just bad. It's embarrassing. Like they should. I don't know what you can do. I don't know the path forward for the Clippers. The OKC is going to has a very good chance of getting a generational player in this draft on behalf of the Clippers. Your best players are all north of 34, with the exception of Zubac. It's dark days. It's just dark days. But you know what?
Uh,
Based on how they've run this organization, they deserve it.
hey man, I might be in the same mindset of what Gilbert Arena said. Send them back to Buffalo. Send
Send
them
them back.
send
Send them to
them
Buffalo.
back to Buffalo.
Send them to Buffalo.
You might have a better chance. Well, now, man, we're gonna have to choose somewhere else because y'all be the little brothers to the Buffalo Bills. So I don't know where we can send y'all. Send them
They
somewhere.
don't deserve to be in New York. Even if it's Buffalo, they don't deserve to be in New York.
Hey, speaking of right, the other LA team, we brought them up, of course, because it's 2 out of the 3 members of the Corner 3 are Lakers fans, so Lakers are going to always, somehow come into the conversation always, as we do. Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic have been absolutely splendid. It's been great to watch that backcourt, seeing them ball. And because we listen to our family, our Corner 3 fam that be showing love on Threads, y'all wanted this. Y'all wanted to know who we have as the top duos in the NBA. Rush posted something with the stats regarding AR and Luka being top 3 dang near in every category as a duo for a backcourt. Rush, you kick it off for us. Is Austin Reaves and Luka the best backcourt in the NBA?
Yes.
And who else is on your list?
No one. This is Luka and AR. No, I think it's Luka AR mainly because Jalen Williams just got back. I think if you're going off reputation, then it's still Shai and Jalen, mainly because they've done it through a regular season and then a postseason, and completed the goal, completed the mission. Excuse me. But I think through this point, through the first 20 or so games, I think it has to be Luka and AR, the way they've carried this team, both collectively and independently at times, while they've waited for LeBron to get back. So I think they're at the top of the list. Outside of that, some familiar faces, Jokic and Murray. And I think and Randall would probably be up there. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, Sengun and Durant, if you call that a duo. But he's just got the number 1 offense, so I think they have to get some respect to be mentioned up there. So yeah, I think. But to answer the first question, I do think Luka and AR are the best duo in the league presently. But that could level out, and we could land back on Jalen and Shai by the end of the year.
Hey, Jarrett, sticking with AR. We talked about this, and we're going to modify the conversation because I think we all on this page agree that we can't say that Austin Reaves yet is the best undrafted player ever. I don't think we could go that far, especially when, if you're looking at Moses Malone was not drafted into the NBA. He came from the ABA. I don't think we could even put AR. He can't sniff his jock strap as of yet for Moses Malone. So I think we could pump the brakes on that one. Do you feel Austin Rivers is the best offensive talent that has been undrafted in the NBA?
That's been undrafted. No, because I still think it's Moses. Moses has some crazy statistical years offensively. I think if we go back to let me go back to his stat sheet. He had a year where he averaged 31, and he played the year he won MVP. Um, he had another
I'm
year where he averaged close to 28. But
I'm just curious. Are we just finessing this argument with including Moses, because he was drafted? He just wasn't drafted by an NBA team. But because clearly, I mean, I'm just asking, and I'm not being accusatory, because obviously, if we're including the ABA, then yeah, I mean, Moses is the clear winner. I think offensively, there could still be an argument, I think, between him and Ben as just the overall best or greatest. But I mean, he was drafted. He just wasn't drafted in the NBA. So
If we take Moses out of it, do you feel there's anybody competing with AR as the best offensive talent?
I'm
probably
actually
not.
surprised. I'm surprised Jarrett ain't say John Starks, just from being a Knicks fan. The
I mean, but
Knicks
John
fandom.
Starks, he was a good offensive player, but he never averaged 25 points. Like I think the
Well, you got
most
to
he
think about
averaged, like
that's true, but you got to think about how
20.
the game is, how different the
Yeah,
game is
that's true.
nowadays compared
And he was
to
a six
back
man,
then.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
Um.
I mean, Starks was good, but I mean,
John Starks has been an all-star. Austin
Yeah,
Reeves ain't done that
he
yet.
was an all-star. Yeah. He gonna be all-star this year.
6th man of the year.
He's gonna be all-star though.
He better be. I
Yeah.
got some DraftKings money on it. Be responsible with like sports gambling and all that stuff. I guess we got to make a disclaimer.
The players do not gamble. No players
Yeah,
gamble.
Tone, when you edit this, flash the gambling hotline support number at the bottom of this segment. Yeah, I think at this point, I think if we're
28
just
points.
looking at 20 points per game,
Yeah.
that's a real 28.
Yeah.
And it should be higher, but he put up a dud against Phoenix. I think if you're looking at just purely like, if you're looking at a repertoire, right, to use a Marv Albert word, shout out to Marv, the legend. I think like the different ways that he's scoring, again, which he's at a slight advantage just because of the way the game is played now. I think it is AR. But if you're looking at it from like a repertoire plus success, I think it has to be Fred. If we're not doing the whole Moses Malone ABA thing, I think it's Fred. Now I do have some sleepers because this was fun while I was doing my research, and I wanted to toss some of these out here, see how y'all felt about it.
SVV. Hold on. SVV. I know Tone don't like that.
Look, I'm just saying he's undersized,
Mhm.
and he put a stretch. I think a 3. I got it right in front of me from 2018 to 2020 to 2020. This is the 2020 season, 2022 season. Excuse me. His last season in Toronto. Though I know they weren't great, but I'm just saying he did some things. He's never been he's never been a highly efficient player. But I think the numbers and the success speak for themselves. But that's why I said if we're talking about success plus offensive ability, plus you always got to give little guys an extra. You got to give them an extra little bit of love just because to be able to score. He's 5'9" in the League of Giants, and he's dropping 20 points a game, 19, 18, 17. Come on, man. Don't hate, Tone. Don't hate. I see you shaking your head. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
I shake
Yeah.
my head.
He's
I
never gonna
shake
be
my head
highly
at the
efficient.
little guys. At the
Mhm.
little guys part. That's it.
I think
No, I'm saying as a smaller guard, we don't like to be called little guys. Like we ain't
but you
little.
are little.
Nah.
Not you specifically, but I'm little too. I'm 5'11". Like you and me the same height. Like I'm little too. like
Nah, that's the only reason why I shook my head. I
you
agree
play in the league,
completely.
dude's average like 6'4". If you 5'9", you little.
I
Um,
am extremely biased to the guards that are under 6 feet. So I have no problem with Fred being in
okay.
this conversation for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I was just checking. But to my sleepers, because I think we've settled on AR/FVV. We already talked about Starks. How about this? Brad Miller.
Brad was good.
Talk to me
Good
about
one.
Brad Miller. That Brad Miller was Jokic light
Yeah.
way before Jokic. Running offense through that high post, could pass it, could shoot the midi. Later in his career, he started stepping out at 3. He was a two-way threat. Brad Miller, I think, he's a name that gets forgotten, right?
Big time.
But
Was he an all-star? I think he made it once.
I don't know if he ever made.
Let me see that.
Yeah, he made it twice actually. He made it
Right.
in Indiana and Sacramento in
I remember
03,
the
02 and
Sacramento
03.
time.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
Yeah, Brad Miller. And then Jeremy Lin. I think his run was
Oh, yeah.
shorter, but I think Jeremy Lin should be on the list of offensive best offensive undrafted players.
Lane
But I
Sanity.
think Fred and Austin are at the top right now.
Most definitely. We're gonna end off with this. We're in December now. We are in December. So instead of doing player of the week this episode, we're gonna do player of the month. Jarrett, who has been your player of the month for the month of November?
Um, I think mine would be. I think mine would be. Hey, I'm being a little biased with this one. I think mine will be CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum's been hooping lately. Oh, hold on, my fault, guys. I trying to stay off. Okay. CJ McCollum. Um, he put up a crazy. What was it? 40, 49 against what was it that they played against? Damn, it's slipping my mind right now. But he's been playing really good lately. I feel like he's had a roller coaster season. He's been mostly, had some good games. He's had some really bad ones. But shout out to him because he did acknowledge that been having some bad games. Um, but yeah, that's my player of the month.
Rush. I think we all know who you possibly might pick, but who's your player of the month?
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
I mean, I
trying to say
think
I'm
it's
you trying to say I'm biased or something?
no, not even biased, but the way he's been playing is hard to ignore.
Because I am biased. Um, it's quite easily for me, Luka Doncic. 32, 8 and 9, 43, 35, 80 splits. Lakers won 11 and 2 in November. He had 8 games of 30 plus, 2 games of 40 plus. It's been big time. He did miss 1 game in November. And the Lakers were able to, I think it was the Portland game that they were able to pull out the Nick Smith Jr. coming out party. So yeah, it's Luka. And I think it's easily Luka. MVP / revenge season continues. Lakers are 15-5, second in the West. I think that puts them third best record I think in the league, probably behind the Pistons or fourth behind the Pistons and the Knicks, maybe. I don't have it in front of me, but overachieving from what everybody was saying in the offseason, right? Like not everybody, like the corner three because we know ball, but everybody else was saying, the Lakers, they signed Aiden, they signed Marcus Smart. They don't, who's LaRavia? When did he come into the league? Number 2 in the West. That's what I'm saying. Number 2 in the
Hey,
West.
I just want to say this too for y'all Suns fans. Y'all having a good season, right? But y'all really are miserable. Y'all are a miserable bunch. Every single chance y'all get, y'all in comments throughout threads. I don't even know what it look like on Twitter. Y'all in comments throughout threads to Lakers fans. Anytime they have a good game, anytime they win, y'all in the comments saying, "Oh, y'all got DA. Oh, wait till the shoe drop." Why y'all that miserable? This man is living his best life in LA. He ain't mentioned nothing about no Phoenix Suns or anything of the sort since he's been there. Y'all really are miserable. Y'all have a winning record this year. Congratulations. Y'all not gonna win nothing. But leave DeAndre Ayton alone. Y'all are miserable. How are y'all winning and DeAndre Ayton is living rent free in y'all head? Be better, Suns fans. Come on.
I'm excited because we got tone. We didn't get QB or producer tone. We got authentic, real tone. He put down his QB helmet. And he just
I like it.
went. It is funny. Like, I think we talked about this in the chat. Like how the Lakers don't really get the benefit of the doubt from basketball fans when it comes like back to back things, right? Like it was a back to back. I don't think that's the reason why the Lakers lost. I think the Lakers have gotten away with beating teams that aren't as good as say Phoenix or the Lakers while still exhibiting like bad habits, that being the Lakers. And they didn't get those cleaned up. And then they ran into a team on the second night of a back-to-back where not only did they continue to exhibit those bad habits, but then they didn't have the extra gas to like push through and try to overcome that because it was the second night of a back-to-back. And they played with their food the night before with New Orleans. So you're gonna have losses like these. I mean, Gillespie's been hooping. He's got a fantastic story. I don't think he's gonna look like prime Steph every night like he did against the Lakers. Dylan Brooks has been having a career year. He's been great. I don't think he's gonna look like prime KD every night. So it was they were hot. They were able to pull it off without Book. They had a couple of guys who had some extra motivation, being Mark Williams and Goodwin. Tip your cap. I think they would have won regardless because I think the Lakers have some bad habits, and most teams that they can outscore, they can get away with those bad habits. But when they have a team that's athletic, that is talented defensively, I think the Phoenix Suns are like near the top of the league in steals per game. They turn teams over. The Lakers can't. They can't afford to play the way they did and as sloppily as they did. So I hope it was as much of a wake up call as the loss to Atlanta was, or the loss to OKC was. But yeah, it is funny how Phoenix. I mean, the Lakers are just because most fan bases love to hate the Lakers. So anytime they beat them and thoroughly, it's sort of like a Super Bowl. But we'll see. It's a long season, and I think we'll see Phoenix at least 3 more times. So we'll see what's up.
Yeah, they love to hate them, but the thing is like, I know you've seen it. It's been games where Phoenix they're not playing the Lakers, and they in people's comments like, "Well, DeAndre, that was lucky." Well, DeAndre, bruh.
DeAndre Ayton has, I believe, I think it's fair to say he has scarred Phoenix Suns fans because I think they hold him more responsible for the finals loss than they do Monty. So I think that's why. But yeah, I mean,
that's the conversation.
It's been it is, but it's definitely been a lot of just wait, DeAndre Ayton's gonna plummet or and people were talking trash at the beginning of the year, and all we've seen to this point is a sustained effort from him and a sustained level of play. So I have no reason to think it won't continue, but who knows? Maybe the Phoenix fans are right. We'll see.
Hey, the thing is that people got to remember they did not sign DeAndre Ayton to come here and go average 20 or 15. He wasn't signed here to be Anthony Davis, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That was not the type of big that they were signing. That's not who they. Oh yeah, DeAndre Ayton, he's going to change the franchise. That's not what he's doing what we asked him to do. And to Rush's point, 100% I agree. You do not accept what you would not accept in a loss and a win. Those bad habits have been accepted in these wins, and now it gets amplified in losses. Hopefully, those that watch this and listen to this, y'all like, share, subscribe, and amplify the Corner 3 podcast because the best 3 is the Corner 3. We out.